So we come to module 4, formulate your philosophy. Before we get started, the two tools, the thinking tools that we've got is personal philosophy guide, is the GPS guidance principle system, and the model watcher. So two great tools. Now, this module is quite complex. It's quite a deep thinking module. So if you've got the tools in front of you, that's brilliant, because it will help you so much when it comes to learning a little bit more and getting into a bit more detail onto this module. But again, if you haven't, you're just watching the videos, not a problem, work your way through it. But when you come back to this module, it would really help if you've got the tools in front of you, because it's a quite deep thinking module. So philosophy. Such a big subject, but this is more around our own personal philosophy. And the way I look at a philosophy is it becomes an operating guide. It becomes a way of being, what I call the be bit. And our philosophy helps us think and act in this world. So the question is, what is philosophy? And it's quite, like I said, it's quite a hard subject to get a grasp of. But our own personal philosophy is we are given knowledge and we have lots of information. And from that information, we create our beliefs. And from those beliefs, we create our values, and then we can place our judgments. And then that's how we think and then how we act in the world. So it comes from a source of knowledge, which then is integral to our belief system and our value system. And then how we think and act in the world comes from that information. The challenge here is, and there's something to question, is what is the information that builds your personal philosophy, your guidance system? On what information do you act upon and think upon? Because there's so many influences when it comes to information and knowledge that we get. As we grow up, we're surrounded and we're associated by many people who can give us information and knowledge. We then lay our beliefs on. Teachers, our parents, our friends, colleagues. And it's all about this information that then creates the beliefs and then strong values. Because once you've got these integral values, then you start to place judgments on things as well. So it's an interesting one really around what is your personal philosophy. And in my own challenge, this is an example. So I was a little bit lost really. I didn't really know about personal philosophies and a guidance system, but it was certain knowledge that I acted upon which created the way I thought and acted in this world. And one of the key principles that I was always told was to work hard, John. My dad instilled it into me and my mum. John, if you want to be successful, work really hard, go for it. Now, that's an absolute principle that we should live by. Working hard is an important one. But when I look at my own story, I carried on with this principle, it became my guidance system, and I worked really hard. But unfortunately, by working hard, I sacrificed a lot. One of the key things is I sacrificed my health, but then I sacrificed my well-being, and I sacrificed my family and many other things. So from this information that I had, it created a belief and a value, which then created the way I acted in the world. And there was a consequence behind it. So once I started to understand what personal philosophy is as a guidance system and a principle system, really, I started to review the information that I had and started to revise it. So I still have this philosophy of work hard, absolutely. But I amended my philosophy. I changed it to work hard to work smarter, because that one philosophy I had of that working hard took me to an end consequence. And it's not what I really wanted. And it was the information and the belief system that I was going on. So it's about looking at the information that you've got, and you act on that information. That acting isn't wrong. It's based on the information that you actually have as a personal philosophy. But even talking about what guides you, and a lot of people are just drifting. I was drifting as well. Before I went on this progression journey, I just, got every day and, had a few principles, just some like values and beliefs I live by, work hard, be respectful, etc. But I didn't really formulate a really strong way of being, something that could really guide me. And that's what a personal philosophy does. It keeps us straight. It holds us to account. When we have these challenges that we have to face, we call on our guidance system, and our guidance system's foundation are based on our principles, which are driven from the knowledge that we've got and our belief and values. And we also place judgments on things. You know, how many times do we judge situations or judge people? But on what grounds? On the information that we know and the beliefs that we have. So having and formulating a strong personal philosophy can keep us straight. It can help us with adversity. It can strengthen our resolve because we know who we are. We know who we want to be. And it's the be bit. You know, this question, what's the purpose of life and all this thing? I get that. But this is around formulating your own being. About who is it that you want to be. It strengthens our character. Character. I measure people on character, who they are. I hear what people say, but it's what they do. What kind of character of a person are you and you want to be? And it's a tough question, and I didn't really ask this question of myself until I started this journey about who is it that I want to be. But then how do I be that person? How do I be that strong character? And understanding this word of character, and it's not about personality. Personality is something ingrained. We pick that up from the age of about 4 or 5. We started to mold our own personality. Our character becomes from choice, and the foundations are on our principles that we live by. And once we have a strong principle system and a strong character, that then strengthens us and strengthens people around us. People can rely on us. So an interesting first look at personal philosophy, and the tools are really going to open this up even more. But I suppose the question to ask is, what is your personal philosophy? What is your operating guide? What guides you? When you have a situation, you're faced with a situation, what is your guide? What do you call on to keep you straight and to strengthen your character? And the 3 power words that I'd like you to consider and I use as a principle. Be the example. That's my intention. When it comes to my character and my way of being, I try to be the positive example. And that guides me. Guides my behaviour, it guides my attitude. And it's a strong ingrained thing now. I get up every morning, I challenge myself. John, be the example. I'm going to be around people. Now we know what some people are like. They can be challenging, they can be frustrating. We can meet angry people, we can meet impatient people. But who is it that you choose to be based on what principles and beliefs that you've got? Is it to be the example? So when everything else is all falling around, is it you who are standing strong, being that example, controlling your emotion, controlling your thinking, consistently applying the things that you want to apply through hard work, but also being smart by personal development and progression? Not just working, actually standing back and saying, actually, I might need to learn some new skills or new knowledge and then apply them, have some new tools. So some real deep thinking on this module, and I'll take you on this journey and introduce you to the tools on the next video. So be the example, great internal message that can hold you straight, can be your guide. So thank you for your time, energy and focus. We're going to look at the next tool for this module, what's called the guidance principle system. And I'll take you through that, and I'll walk you actually through mine, what I actually use and I've got up on my wall as well, that becomes my guidance system. So thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next video.